Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. My name is Rob Murgatroyd, and I am a former doctor turned lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I interview some of the best minds on the planet on the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Today's episode is a mini-sode that we call Fri-Date with the Wife. In these mini-sodes, my wife Kim and I deconstruct the strategies that we've developed over the last decade to not only grow personally, but to turn our struggles into lessons and create fulfillment in all areas of our lives. Excuses are over. It's time to live. Let's dig into today's topic. All right, before we jump into this episode, I want to invite you to be considered for my Work Hard, Play Hard Mastermind by completing an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. So this mastermind is not like any mastermind you may have been to or heard of, I promise you. This mastermind is for 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs that are working too damn much and aren't taking the time to have amazing experiences around the world with an incredible tribe of people. So every 100 days or so, I drop you into new experiences that are specifically designed to elevate your thinking, to give you new ideas. Look, you get your best ideas not staring at a computer. And actually, this is the way high-level people really collaborate with each other. They do it over a glass of champagne, watching the sunset in the south of France. And we'll be doing things just like that. In fact, we'll be taking a vintage car ride through the French Riviera this summer, and we'll be truffle hunting in Florence in the fall, to name just a few of the experiences so that I can give you a feel for it. So if you are ready to do some fun stuff around the world and really want to level up your tribe in one shot, fill out an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. We'll jump on a call and we'll see if it's a good fit. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Well, Kimberly, I'm sitting in the middle of a street in Florence, Murgatroyd. How are you today?
How about that I'm sipping a cappuccino? I don't drink coffee.
No, you don't. What is this little white thing that is next to my Doppio espresso?
It looks like meringue.
It looks like meringue. It also looks like something else. Did we leave this from another night?
Oh, yeah, Robert.
Okay, so here's what I think we can do. I think we could talk a little bit about first where we are. We've been giving, so for everybody, I just have to get this out of the way. You may not give a shit, but
your audiophileness hates the banging.
You're going to hear banging and bicycles in the cafe next to us. They're playing Too Legit to Quit, which is really funny. And everybody's sort of like
And it's 9 a.m.
It's 9 a.m. So
it's too legit to quit at 9 a.m.
All right, so let's set the stage for where we are. Since this is an audio experience and not visual, we got up this morning and we strolled Sophia into school, which is, I guess, about a mile away. And on the way to dropping her off at school, we pass all of the expats who
are... The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker.
Well, yes, their stores are not open quite yet. Some of them aren't, but, it's all of the people that are, busy getting started with their day.
Well, let's do this. So let's truly set the stage. So we wake up in the morning.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
And then, we walk out on our balcony and we're on the top floor of this palazzo. And we walk out on the balcony and we can see the Duomo, we can see Santa Croce. And if you don't know what we're talking about and you're interested in any of that, just go on our Instagram because we actually can't stop taking pictures of it or Instagramming it. So you'll see it every freaking day for the next 40-something days. So we do that. We make breakfast. We get the little munchkin ready for school because, yes, we put her in school here. And mommy needs a break. Daddy needs a break. We need to work. We need to connect. So it's just how it's going. And she loves it, by the way, because she needs children. She needs to be around kids. She needs to play. So it's perfect. So we found this school, like you said, about a mile away. And a mile probably sounds like an eternity for people in the U.S. because no one walks. But here, everybody walks. It's a pedestrian-friendly city. It is bicycles, scooters, and people walking just down the street. So 1 mile is nothing. It's like a tenth of my day. I think we're walking 10 miles a day here. So we walk down 100 stairs, literally, we counted. And we open these giant wood doors, like the kind that back in the day, like a horse walked through or something, because they are so massive, so tall, so heavy. We open these giant wood doors and we walk out into the street. And because we are not on the street side, it's very quiet where we are. But you walk out on the street and you're instantly hit with the sounds and the smells of Florence. And there's a drill, just in case you were wondering. So I was walking you through our day. So we walk out those big doors, we get nailed with all of the sights and smells and sounds of Florence, and we take our little munchkin to school. And I got to tell you, when you're walking through streets and, they're still cobblestone, or as Sophia says, horse streets, because that's what horses walk on. When you're walking down these streets and they're so ancient and it's thousands of years old, you can't help but be just inspired. Like, the Italians are bicycling to work and they're beautifully dressed and they're dinging their little bicycle bells so they don't kill you when they come by. But there's no rush here. What do they say, Rob? Tranquillo, right?
Tranquillo, yeah.
It's very tranquil. So they get up and they walk to the cafe and they stand at the counter and they chat and sip their espresso. They talk and communicate with the people around them. One thing here that I've noticed is, no one walks around standing at their cell phone. So the thing in America that happens now where it's like you're walking down the street and you're getting like pummeled with people who are not looking up. They're just staring down at their phone and walking directly into you. Yeah, that doesn't happen here. People look you in the eye and say buongiorno. They say ciao. They, say good morning. It's pretty spectacular.
So, there's so many different angles that we can take this. And, what I want to do is I want to make this like an Italian travel show and tell you all of the amazing things about Italy. And we'll do some of that. But I think from a high level perspective, just a couple of things I want to share with people, because I know a lot of people that are listening to this podcast are at points in their life where they're either frustrated with where they are, or they're looking for a change, or they don't really know where they want to go and what they want to do. And we've been searching on so many levels Kim's taking a picture. Hold on. You go ahead, take your picture.
I am taking pictures. I didn't need you to look. I don't need you to smile.
I can't talk and take a picture at the same time. I'm not wired that way. Plus, I had 3 espressos.
Can I edit the picture while I'm talking? Just kidding.
So, there's a lot of people that are in, this place in their life where they're looking for, different changes and stuff. And, as many of you longtime listeners of the show know, we were living in Atlanta. We decided that we wanted to check off a bucket list and travel around to the places that we were interested in Europe. And we've been doing that now for how long? 2.5 months?
Yeah, since the end of June, July, August, now in September, almost 3 months now.
And, we've been to some absolutely amazing places. Mykonos, Montenegro, Dubrovnik, lots of different areas.
Lots of areas of Italy.
We went down to the Puglia region, etc. But there isn't anything, out of all the places that I've been to, I'm always looking at it from a lifestyle perspective and would I want to live there. So Mykonos, I'd love to, go to the beach there. Puglia, I'd love to, enjoy that whole region, but I wouldn't want to live there. Florence is one of those places that it's like I view it like it's this big bosomed woman that takes her arms and just wraps you and holds you tight. When you're
getting a little creepy,
when you're feeling lonely and you just want to put your head against
Nona's
nanas. That's what this feels like. It feels like she just has her arms wrapped around me and she's going to take care of me and she's going to feed me well. I'm going to have great clothes. I'm going to have great tomatoes. By the way, there's 200 different tomatoes in Italy, I've learned. Go ahead. You want to talk?
I do, because I think that there's so many things here. Like, you want to come out of the closet? So
I'm not ready to, but go ahead.
Okay, so yesterday we spent our morning in an attorney's office here trying to figure out.
That's no big deal. I thought you meant the real thing. Go ahead.
We spent our morning in an attorney's office trying to find a way for us to get a long-term visa, an extended stay, or possibly citizenship, because we are so at home here. And I just want to hit some of the things that are so different for me here. Little things like traditions. And we're walking down the street, and I can't tell you how many times we've walked down the street and seen a pink ribbon with a little girl's name or a blue ribbon, because obviously a baby was just born. And it's such, and the community is celebrating that. When you go to aperitivo, which is their version of happy hour, it is, there's food, there's cocktails, but more than that, it's community. People are sitting at aperitivo to talk and to meet people, not to sit on their phone and do social media.
Let me paint the picture of aperitivo, because I went down last night to get a bottle of wine and I saw it in full action. So at the end of the day, people have like an Aperol spritz or a Campari spritz, or there's usually some kind of spritz. And for $5, you get your spritz, and for $10, you get the full buffet. And when I tell you the full buffet, I mean like it looks like Italian Sunday brunch, where it's more food than you can possibly eat. But like Kim said, not only is it incredibly incentivizing, advantageous for you to want to take part in it, there's also a community feeling that happens around it. But continue. I digress.
No, you're good. You're good. So, I mean, things like that. Then we go to the piazzas. Now, piazzas are the big squares, and their point is for the community to gather there and to connect. And they're everywhere here. And it happens. Like, we go out to dinner and then we bring Sophia to one of the piazzas, and there's a man who's singing, music with his guitar, and a crowd is around him. And all the little girls in the community are dancing, and Sophia joins them, and they hold hands and dance in circles. Like, it is the most... Like, I can't tell you how many times I've almost like burst into tears here, get that like choked up feeling, because what they're doing here is they're living. Like, I haven't met one Italian who was like, hey, so tell me about what's your next up-leveling your goal. Like, no one wants to really talk about that. They have goals, they have a way of life, but their goal is to live. And it's fascinating here. Like, we joke about their work schedule because, people come into work at like 9:30, 10, but then at like 1, they all shut it down for like 3 hours for the siesta and for lunch. But that's about life. That's about living. That's about going home and having lunch with your family and connecting. And, families here are not from, 6 in the morning until 8 at night. The parents aren't gone working and grinding and come home and like exhausted. Now, I'm generalizing here, obviously. So I'm sure there's going to be Italian people that are like, there's a whole nother side of Italy, and there sure is. But right now in this city center, what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, and how we're seeing it as people that can work remotely, I mean, I can't think of a better life.
Yeah, I'll tell you too. It's one of the most livable cities for all the reasons that you've mentioned, but from the standpoint of people who are English speaking, right? Americans, Canadians, people from England, etc. The language barrier is so small here. Everybody speaks English. I mean, rarely do you find.
I'm actually trying to speak Italian, and
really
they're speaking
tough
to us in English.
Yeah, I mean, you say this, you walk into a coffee shop and you say "Buongiorno, due cappuccini," and they say, "Okay, would you like milk with that?" Or I mean, it's like they know.
And there's such an expat community here. We have met. Let me tell you one thing that's amazing here that has happened nowhere else in the world. We have run into a handful of families so far, and we've only been here a week, maybe 4 or 5 families that have taken a year off or more to travel the world with their kids and their family. Like, Rob and I are not alone, but I will tell you, we are on the short end of this spectrum. Like, these people are taking 1 year, 2 year. We met one amazing family that is homeschooling. They have 2 boys, and they're world schooling is what they call it. And they are traveling indefinitely with their family and experiencing things. Like, we brought Sophia to Santa Croce, which is an amazing church, beautiful. But some of the greatest minds in history, Leonardo, Machiavelli, Dante, they're all there. Their burial, their
good
tombs.
Memory. That was good. I was like, I hope she doesn't ask me who's in there. I forgot.
But they're there. But Sophia walked around and she's like, who's this one? Galileo. Who's this one? Who's that one? And so we went tomb to tomb and taught her.
He's in the one that was in the Queen video, right?
Yes, Galileo. Yeah. Galileo. Galileo. So we went around and we taught her about each of these people, what little we knew. And that was sort of embarrassing. But, we taught her about that. And then she looks over and she sees this statue called the Liberty of Poetry. And she said, Mommy, that looks like the Statue of Liberty. And I looked and I went, it sure does. And it looks like, you remember in McDowell's, you remember in Coming to America, McDonald's and McDowell's? That's what it looked like. Except get this, we did the research on it, and that statue was created first. And the guy that made the Statue of Liberty came to Florence, saw the drawings, saw the cast mold for that statue, and guess what he did? He knocked that shit off. That's what we learned. So it was so fascinating. So it truly is world schooling. So we're meeting families that are choosing to do it differently. And I think we're about to become one of those families.
So, a lot of people who are listening have heard us talk about moving to California, and that's still on the table. We are
October 19th.
We're in the process of moving there October 19th, and we've committed to 2 years in Southern California. Look, we may go. We may do what everybody else does. We may go to Southern California and be like, this is Mecca. We never want to leave, and this is the greatest place in the world. But I think deep inside our bones, right now, we recognize that as amazing as Southern California is and all it has to offer, it's not going to be able to offer, likely, the depth of culture and experience.
No, oh my gosh. Okay, Monday morning, we drop Sophia off. We go to the mercado, the market. Okay, so at home, we have Stop and Shop, Shaw's, Publix. We have grocery stores. You may have a farmer's market once a week, maybe in your community or something like that. The mercado here, there's 2 major mercados, one on either side of the city. Monday morning, we grab our reusable bags. We head to the mercado. We get fresh veggies, organic veggies, straight off the farm. We get fresh meats, fresh produce, fresh everything, and cheese and olive oil and spices. And we fill our bag and we go home. We have groceries. I think I spent $40 yesterday at the mercado, and we have food for a week. It's amazing.
You said something a couple of days ago that really struck me, and that is that every Sunday as a ritual, when we go out for brunch, have some mimosas, and we sit on the couch and we Google anything that we can get we YouTube anything that we can get our hands on that is about Italy. It could be watching a YouTube of one of our favorite gals, Kylie Flavel. You should Google her.
Let's really set the stage of that, okay?
Yeah.
So every single Sunday since you and I have been together has been drowned in mimosas, endless mimosas, bottomless mimosas.
It starts with Andrea Bocelli in the morning.
It does, but then we move into drowning ourselves in mimosas, some sort of egg concoction for brunch, and then we sit on the couch in Snuggies and we watch Italy, right?
Yeah.
And so that's our Sunday. That's our Sunday fun day, as they call it. Do you know what we did this Sunday?
We lived in Italy.
We went and saw Machiavelli. We went and saw Dante. We went and saw Leonardo. We walked the city. We had the best fucking gelato I've ever had in my life. And Sophia agrees.
Vivoli.
And I mean, we experienced life. I didn't once think of, I just need to sit on the couch and sip a mimosa. We had a glass of wine with dinner. It wasn't about that. In the US, I'm so bored that I'm like, where are we going to go for brunch today? In Italy, it's which museum are we going to see today? What unique thing? I mean,
I'm also going to get controversial on you here for a second. So this
on
is
me or on them,
and anybody listening, because I'm sure we're going to piss people off because
wait.
people are diehard Americans, and in no way am I not. In no way am I not being grateful of the country.
Hold on, let's scratch the record.
The country that has given me so much
freedom.
So much freedom in life, and so please don't take anything I'm saying as being anti-American, because I don't feel that way, and I don't want to get into that discussion.
That's a really big precursor.
But here's what I am saying. I cannot remember the last time, if ever, I've turned the television on and found out that there was a school shooting in Italy. The incidence of things like rape is non-existent in this country. Yes, do they have their problems? Of course, every country has their problems. But
not like we do.
But when you have a 5-year-old daughter and seemingly constantly, and I'm going to use the word constantly because anybody listening to this is likely, I'm sure there's a lot of Americans who are listening to this that understand the sentiment of what I'm trying to get across. There's a lot of freaking school shootings. There's a lot of people. I mean, whether it's Las Vegas, from Columbine to Las Vegas, this does not...
Schools, movie theaters, bars.
This does not stop. This doesn't happen in places like this. This is just not an issue. And I don't want to get into a gun control argument. I don't want to talk about it. All I'm saying is that when I think of what's in front of me is this one little girl, right? She's 5 years old. My job is to protect her and offer her an amazing life of the world and learning and, teaching and culture. I don't know. We've traveled a lot, and I have never been to a... guys, gets me choked up thinking about, but I've never been to I'm going to call this a village because that's what it feels like.
It feels like a village.
I've never been to, because it is a walled town, a walled city, right? There's literally a wall around it. And I've never been to a place that has all of the different experiences. If I filter it through Sophia, it's a win. If I filter it through our lives, specifically, it's a win in terms of the things that we're interested in, food, family,
everything. And let me
sorry for that rant.
No, let me piggyback on that because I'm looking at this through Sophia's eyes too, and I'm saying, if we raised her in Atlanta, okay, so where we lived in Atlanta, our older daughter, I know, felt the pressure of keeping up with the status quo, felt the pressure of, I have to have this shirt and these shoes, and I have to look this way, and this one drives that car and has that purse and this jewelry, and everything was so about the outside and appearances. And even in the US, you travel around and there's so much plastic surgery and fake this and fake that and tons of makeup and all of these things that just are covering our insecurities often instead of highlighting where we are. And here, the children look like children. They play like children. They're not like tiny adults that are, trying to keep up. They literally are children. And, I just feel like there's such a desire for education and intelligence and kindness and empathy and giving and all of these things here that is, I find, less in the US. I know I'm going to get flack for that. And they're going to say it depends what community you're in. And my community is great. And yes, can you find pockets here and there? Sure. But Americana, as we know it, is a hustle, grind. Very little quality of life. Our kids are overweight. They aren't spending enough time with their parents. They aren't being educated in the way that they should be. They aren't being fed the way they should be. They aren't being allowed to be children the way they should be. And that, to me, is what is so different for me here. So there's my rant for the day.
I mean, there's so many different
I think we have one listener left.
No, I don't think so. I think people that are listening are either resonating with it or they're not resonating.
Or they've shut it off.
Or whatever. I mean, it's
okay.
It's totally fine. So what we wanted to do with this episode,
Shalene Johnson says, feel free to get out of my car.
Yeah, we wanted to give people a very honest opinion of how we're experiencing Italy. And, I tell you what's interesting is, we all live in this weird Instagram world, right? And when I look at my Instagram now, and I look at the quote unquote influencers, and I see the girls, I have a lot of fitness girls on my feed. That's the world I'm in, I suppose. And, when I watch the silly, girl tilting her head, holding her ponytail. And when I watch the guys, standing in front of their Ferrari or, whatever the car is, or walking on their jet. And I look at those things, it always looked weird to me, but now it looks silly. I don't even, when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, do you, I know this is going to sound elitist, and I don't mean it to be because I certainly don't know myself, but I'm more interested in learning about somebody who's learning another language or learning about Dante or learning, doing something, building a big business or just something other than this silly, look what I'm driving, flying, look at my outfit, look at my bikini. It just is a world that seems to be non-existent here. And the longer
it's the superficiality of Americana.
I guess so. The longer I'm here, the more detached I feel from it and the weirder it is. So,
Everything's okay?
Everything is wonderful.
Tutto bene.
Tutto bene.
Tu?
Buongiorno.
Sì?
Sì, grazie.
Parlo l'italiano. Io parlo l'italiano molto bene.
Sì, è vero.
You do or no molto
I
bene?
do. I'm telling her I do.
Sì.
She told me, she said, you better start practicing.
I'm trying. Every time we speak Italian, they speak back in English. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
We love it.
Beh,
La dolce vita.
la dolce vita. Anche io non sono italiana. E ho deciso
How long?
I live here since 2 years.
Oh, from
wow.
where? Where'd you come from? Dove va?
Io sono della Francia.
French.
Dove?
Bonjour.
Dove?
Bonjour.
Dove in France?
Verso Parigi.
We were just there.
We were just there.
We brought our 5-year-old. We took her. We were traveling for 4 months in Europe.
Yes.
And our 5-year-old turned 5 in September, beginning. And she said, can I have a party? I said, well, we have no friends. You know, so what would you love to do for your birthday? And she said, I would love to see the Eiffel Tower twinkle.
Wow.
And so we took her for her 5th birthday to see the Eiffel Tower twinkle.
Yes.
Is that amazing? And so that was her 5th birthday at the Eiffel Tower.
Is it great?
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Thank you. You'll see her. We'll bring her. She loves a cafe.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
She drink a coffee?
No,
No.
she
She
likes
loved it. She loved the cafe.
Yeah.
like she likes a croissant al chocolate.
But this croissant, it's almost like the French croissant.
Oh, really
Oh,
buttery?
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell.
Oh, we're gonna have to
This
do
one
that.
is really good.
Well, I'm going to
But
take your
in-
advice.
In Firenze, in Italy, it's really hard to find a real croissant, French croissant.
Yeah,
This one,
It's
maybe it's the same. Maybe.
maybe.
We'll bring her.
Maybe,
We'll bring her
maybe.
one home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Did I-
Or grazie mille.
Grazie.
So there you go. That's a great example.
Yeah, we're gonna keep that in because that's a
No,
perfect.
keep it. I mean, that's a great example of what it's like. It's there is people that just stop and talk to you, and I've learned. Here's what I've learned. They need foreplay. In America, like you can't, it's kind of like dating, right? You can't walk up to the girl and stick your tongue down her throat. I've tried it. It doesn't work. What you need to do is a little romance, a little conversation, a little chit chat. And that's there's like a little romance there. And I think we'll wrap it up with this. There is a flow to a day that happens here. In the morning, the church bells are ringing. The streets are filled with bicycles, people going to and fro, school, work, etc. Tourists. Around the time it is now, around 10, 11 o'clock, people are in the markets buying vegetables and fruits for what they're going to, eat for that night. Around 12 o'clock, let's say 1 o'clock, the lunch. Well, actually, in the morning, all the cafes are open and they're packed. Everybody's going in. You go to the cash register, you give them a euro or two, and they give you a little ticket so you can go a receipt so you can go to the barrister, have a little chit chat. They smoke a cigarette and have an espresso. Then they go to work. And then around 1 or 2 o'clock, the restaurants open up for lunch. Around 3 or 4, some of the stores close for a siesta, although not that much here in Florence. And then around 5 o'clock, let's say 6 o'clock, the Aperol Spritz vibe happens. And then what do they call it again? I forgot. The aperitivo hour goes on. And then around 8 o'clock that night, 9 o'clock, everybody is out for the passeggiata and dinner, and then passeggiata, and then gelato. And there's many more things that go on in between that, but that is the flow of the day. And don't try and drink a cappuccino at night, or don't try and get a gelato in the morning, or you can't, it's not the 24/7 that exists in the States where if you want something, you can get it anytime, all the time.
Well, you could get a cappuccino, but they're just going to do it with like a sideways glance at you because how dare you order a giant cup of milk at night?
There's just a time and a place for things to be done here, and it's just done the way it is.
I think my favorite weird thing is that on Monday morning, many things are closed.
because
Sunday was rough.
Sunday was rough.
Sunday was truly a fun day.
So I hope that this free form flow of stream of consciousness that probably was radically politically incorrect lands well with people and comes from a place of just honesty. Because once we get back to America, we're going to be stimulated by that environment. And a lot of this, is not going to be top of mind in the way that it is while we're sitting at a cafe in Italy. And we wanted to bring you the
realness,
the film noir as it is actually happening. So we're going to leave this just the way it is. And let us know in the comments if you want more of things like this,
or if you have any questions, about living in Italy, or any questions about travel, anything like that. We're always happy to answer.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week. What
ciao.
You want to say ciao? Okay.
Ciao, bella.
Okay, we'll see you guys next week. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
All right, thanks for listening. If you love this episode and you know someone that needs some help in either stepping up their work hard game or their play hard game, it would mean the world to me if you shared this podcast with them to help me get this movement out there. So if you like what you heard, head on over to iTunes, take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. So until the next episode, excuses are over. It's time to live.